Hi everybody, welcome back to Cash Chat. Today I'm by myself. I haven't done my Get to Know You challenge, and I figured what better way of doing it than doing it live. So I'm gonna hop right into doing that. So the first question is, where did I grow up and where do I live now? I grew up in Buffalo, New York, or Westfield, New York as a teenager, but majority of the time was in Buffalo and Westfield. My wife Erin grew up in Randolph, New York. If you guys aren't familiar with that, that's actually where the Allegheny Geobash is every May, I believe. I believe it's in May. But yeah, she grew up like pretty much one exit down from where that takes place at the park. So all right, and now we live in a northern suburb of Atlanta called Cartersville or White, Georgia. That's where we live now. So it's been great here. The weather's nice. We have to deal with snow, but maybe once every 3 years, so that helps. And right now it's starting to get the heat wave down here, which I call turning on the oven when it's so hot down here where you barely do anything outside, but we try to anyways. Yeah, I grew up in Buffalo. I grew up until I was 12 years old or 13, and then I moved south of the city to a small town called Westfield, New York, which is right on Lake Erie. So I do have videos from Buffalo, so that might be why you seen some of them, Gio. All right. As for pets, we have our Alley boxer dogs, which you guys have seen probably in a few videos of us. And we also have a 14-year-old tabby cat. She's still kicking around, and she's still just as spunky as she was when she was a kitten. Other than jumping off a few things, she's still the same cat she was when she was young. So, but that's what we have for pets. So look out for Allie in a few future videos. So, favorite things I used to do as a kid. When I was a kid, I liked to play street hockey. I couldn't get enough of it. And in the winter, we, of course, had our little snowball wars. But in the summer, I was outside playing hockey all the time. And my mom and dad used to really hate it because when I'd come home, they knew within a few minutes it was probably my glasses. I broke probably, I'm guessing, 10 to 15 pairs of glasses playing hockey. And sometimes it'd be just after I got a new pair, right after school, went out to play street hockey with the boys. And within 10 minutes, I had a broken pair. And I either had to get them repaired or hot glue. Hot glue was my friend for a while. So, all right, my first car was a Monte Carlo. I love that car. I loved it to death. Me and my brother actually got in a crash with it, which sadly killed the car. A old man, I hate to say that, but an old man was at a stop sign. We were on a curve, and he decided to look one way and not the other, and he pulled out in front of us and hit us head on. I wasn't driving at the time. My brother was, and I ended up going through my head through the windshield, and I ended up breaking my nose in 3 places, and yeah, it was pretty bad. But I love that car. It was only 3 months old when I had it, so sadly it's gone. It was black, and I loved it. All right. If I could watch any movie for the rest of my life, 24/7, it's not really a movie, but it's a series. I like the Band of Brothers series. It's just one of my favorites. I love it. I could watch every episode in a big circle all day long. It's just anything with that. And if I had to pick a specific movie, it'd probably be any one of the Die Hards. I'm a big fan of the Die Hard series, and I love it. So, but I like the classic like war movies. I also like Platoon. I also like Full Metal Jacket. I like anything with war, but I like Band of Brothers because it was basically based off a true story. So I'd have to watch that series over and over again. I can't really pick a movie. Yes, I have watched the Mythbusters. So, all right. Let me see here. What's next? Any famous person I would like to meet? I would like to meet Tom Hanks. I also would like to meet Stephen King or Steven Spielberg. I love them too. And those who I would like to meet, I'd also like to show them geocaching if they've ever heard of it. Tom Hanks, what I like about him is he does a lot of like movies based off of history, along with Steven Spielberg. And I would just like to pick Stephen King's brain. Just all the books he's written, just to pick his brain would be amazing. I'd just love to sit with him and just I know a lot of his books were made when he was tripping on drugs and all that, but just to pick his brain and see how he comes up with the stuff he comes up with would be insane. This question is getting sort of out of date because we're all busting out of quarantine as it is. But what's one thing that during quarantine I would do while staying at home and try to learn? I would love to learn to play the guitar or play the drums. It's just something I've always wanted to do, and I've never done it before. And it's something I would just love to do. But I know my wife wouldn't like it. But I'm sure I would love to do it. Just even to play simple things, just to sit down in the garage and play for a few hours, just to get out my energy, I guess. I'd love to hear stories. I love hearing that stuff. What I like to do, I know this isn't a question, but I like to, and I mentioned this last weekend cash chat with the ladies that wrote the books. I like to look at diaries of fallen soldiers that fought in battle. I also like to see the points of view from both sides of a conflict, just to see how they claim victory pretty much in that conflict, just to get a vision of, like, let's say the Confederacy and the Union, get a vision of how the Union thought that battle was fought, and the Confederacy, and see how they thought it was fought. Because each one's going to claim victory in some way, shape, or another, even though they're both, there is one ultimate winner, but there's going to be some moral victories for each side and some actually winnings of both sides. So you're going to have good things and bad things when it comes to that. So, all right, now we start the geocaching half of this video. How did we get started into geocaching? Some of you already might know this, but how we got into geocaching was we were looking for trails to hike on. We were hiking local trails, and my wife was looking up trails, and she happened to see geocaching that was included on this trail. And when she looked it up, I thought originally you went to like a park, and there was no ground zero, that you just searched in the park. They gave you a number that were in the park, and you basically had to search up and down the park just to find the container. I didn't know you actually got chords and you got to ground zero, and that's what brought you to the cache. I thought you just had to search the park until you randomly stumbled upon one. Go past forward a little bit, 3 months later, she looked it up again, and she told me that no, you have to actually take a GPS and you follow the chords, and it brings you to actually a location, and then you search. So that's made it sound a little bit easier. So that weekend we took my family that lived a little bit south of us in Georgia, and we went to a local park like right next to their house, and we found our first cache, and the rest is history. And now we're 8,500 caches in and still finding caches, and I enjoy it very much to this day. So that's why I'm doing this today. All right. What's one thing I like about the caching people in my area? A lot of people put out several different caches. I'm glad my area, because I was the lone cacher in Cartersville, Georgia for a while after some people had passed away and some people slowly are getting out of it. So I was the only lone cacher. I'm glad to see there's a lot of new cachers in my area putting out caches. It makes us be able to find some that are in our area. We haven't been able to find many caches in our area because we sort of hunted them all out. So I'm glad that's there. And in my area, some of you might not know, is going caching. The mega event is right in my backyard. It's literally probably 25, 30-minute drive from my house. So that's great to have in my area, and it's great to have cachers like that put on events so close to home, so I don't have to travel as far as most people do for mega events. So let's see what the next question is. Would you rather find an amazing cache in an average area or a average cache in an amazing location? I think I might have said that same. If I did, sorry. But I'd rather find an average cache in a great location. It's just sometimes caching, it can make a dull cache be immaculate, and if it has an amazing location. And most of the time, if there's a location, there's a story to tell going to that cache, usually because you have to travel 2-3 miles to get to that cache, and there's usually you go with a group of people, if not yourself. There's always a longer story leading up to that cache instead of just finding a cache, logging the log, and you're gone. Even though it's an amazing cache, it's short-lived. Usually there's a story going along with a location. So that's why I pick an average cache in an amazing location. So I'm not sure, Tom. I couldn't tell you. Since they canceled the one you just told me about earlier today, the Midwest Geo Bash, I can't believe that seems like they're canceling everything this year. They're probably just going to, I'm assuming they're going to anyways. Bingo's still going on. I didn't know that. I've been so out of base. I haven't gone physically cashing in probably a good month. I'm hoping to do like 1 or 2 this weekend. I'm hoping. But yeah, it's been crazy. Let's see what the next question is. Question number 4 on the geocaching side. What's one milestone that we're proud of the most? Almost completing our first PhysiGrid. We've been caching since 2011, and we still haven't got our PhysiGrid. I know a lot of people have it triple. Some people have it 5 times over. We still haven't finished our one. We have 1 square left, and it's a 4.5, 4.5. I have my eyes set on one of them. It's in probably about an hour and a half drive from our house, which involves crossing a creek, climbing up some rocks. And I'm really looking forward to doing that one. It's probably going to be really handful with bugs this time of year, but the creek will like cool us down if we go for it now. But I'm hoping to go for that one pretty soon. There's also one that's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, or no, not 1.5 miles, sorry. About 10 to 15 minutes from our house, but I don't want to deal with briars, and that one's in a briar-infested area. I'm sort of over getting my legs chawed up by briar, so I'm going to go for the other one, and I think it'd make for a better video. Hello, Craig. The Aussie Geocacher has arrived. Thank you for joining us, sir. What am I rolls? All right. Question 5. What's our next geocaching goal? Our next geocaching goal would probably be our 365 challenge. We haven't got that done either. We've been caching for this long, and we haven't got it done. Also, I want to try to get the Georgia County Challenge done. There's been plenty of caches out everywhere, and I want to get that done. But with COVID and all that, it's sort of limited to us to where we could cache. So I want to get either the county challenge or our 365-day challenge complete. I know we have to get that PhysiGrid done. It's just when we started caching, really didn't know about that there was challenges to do that stuff. So we just aimlessly found caches and not worried about dates, not even that. We don't even have that done yet. The what's it called again? Not the Physi or the 365. What's the one where you have to get the older dates? Somebody help me. I forgot what it's called. Somebody knows, but yeah, you have to get all the older dates with the months and the years, and I forgot what challenge that is, but we haven't even got that one done yet. And I haven't even got marooned yet, and it's in my backyard. Most people travel miles and miles and miles to get marooned, and I have yet to get that, and that's probably a good hour and a half drive from here, and I still haven't got it. There's people that travel from states just to get that one, just to get their date for that one, and I still haven't got. So it'll happen. Maybe that one I could put as my one of my ones I want to get by the end of the year. So, all right, what's one place we haven't cached that I want to cache? Germany. I've heard so many good things about Germany, and I want to go there. I also would like to go anywhere in Europe just to see the sites. I haven't been over there yet. I'm hoping to one day. If somebody wins the lottery and they're so gracious enough to give me some money, that'd be good. I could get. And also, I'd like to go to Seattle. I haven't gone to Seattle yet, or Oregon, or any of that area to get the first stash, all that stuff yet. I haven't got any of that yet. So I haven't even got the HQ yet. So I'm hoping to one day get it. I'm hoping maybe next year during Geo Woodstock and all that other fun stuff. Maybe I could get up there and do all that fun stuff. So that's one place I haven't gone yet. So. Favorite memory of geocaching. My favorite memory of geocaching is some of the vloggers have mentioned was the summit that we had during the Cincinnati Geo Woodstock. The summit was amazing. Like plenty of the other geo vloggers have said, just to meet a lot of vloggers from everywhere. We had Craig, which is here in the room right now. It was an amazing event. We had probably, I'm guessing, maybe 20 vlogger groups, if give or take, like 3 or 4. But Craig graciously stopped there. He was from Australia. He was even there at the event. Just to see everybody and talk about everything and figure out what everybody uses as their, what they use to film their videos. Just talk about everything and see everybody in person instead of just like we are right now on camera. It was an amazing experience. It's something you can't really explain. It's just something you'd have to be there to see it, but just to see everybody in person instead of being face to face on camera was a truly great experience. It was one of probably the best experiences I've had geocaching ever. Even over all the finds I've found, even over all the caches, just to see everybody in person instead of on camera like we are now. So, all right, that's gonna conclude the questions. If anybody has any questions in the room, I'll gladly answer those before I get to what I'm going to do for my contest. I'm not going to go into detail with the contest. I'm going to do that in another video. But if anybody has any questions in the room for me, myself, go ahead and ask. Went to Seattle in 2007, Richard. I'd love to go there. I don't have the money, and I wish I had the money. I wish I could win the lottery and go. I'd go in a heartbeat. I wish everything was free. It'd probably be a lot better. All right, if no one has any questions, I'll go with what I'm going to do for my contest. If you were in my show last week when I had the ladies on that wrote the books, they're each going to give away, I think Janji is going to, Janji, I can't even say her name right, so it's going to give one of her books called Sophia Finds a Geocache Away, and also Michelle, the one that wrote the Cache a Predator and the other book, she's going to be letting me give away 2 of her books, the Cache a Predator and the teenage book. I forgot what that one's named offhand. I'll have to get with her, but I am going to make another video giving the contest rules and where I share the link to enter the contest. So look forward to that for my next video. So that's what the contest, I had to give out the contest information. So look forward to that probably tomorrow. I'll probably make that tonight, if not tomorrow morning, and I'll release it tomorrow afternoon. So look forward to seeing that. Any recommendations for caches in Georgia? Yes. Let me find out where they are because there's a specific park. Just give me 1 second here, and I'll tell you. Actually, there's some of my videos that I've made. The guy that puts them out, he goes by the name of Bread Baker. So he has a lot. There's a park in Georgia that has quite a few of his caches, and they're definitely worth going after for sure. Let me find out what park they're in, and I can give you a GC code so you can look them up. 1 second. All right, 2 seconds here. If I can find them here. Oh, go to map. Here it is. I'm so not used to going on the geocaching website. I just use my phone or use the app, so it's kind of different going on the website. I'll find them, sure. Just give me a second. Just let me find it. Sorry, I'm taking forever. I'm usually not this slow. I'm trying to find it. Come on. Oh. Sorry, I'm taking forever. Yeah, Mike, I'll check that cache for you. I actually work right across the street from that place now. So before I forgot about that because I know it rained a lot when you wanted me to look for that cache. I'll go there probably the next day when I go to work, probably Monday. I'll go up there and check to see if I can find it. My favorite type of cash would probably have to be just a regular large. That's my favorite one to find. Yeah, I'll find that place of cash. I know I'm in the right area. I just can't find it. Come on. I don't know why I'm having a hard time finding it. I don't know why I'm having a hard time. Well, anyway, if you want to search the caches I'm looking for, they're by a gentleman by the name of Bread Baker. So if you look at Bread Baker, you'll find his caches. Or if you look at my highly favorited caches, most of the highly favorited caches on my channel, they're his, and they're also Azergroff's, which are highly favorited as well. So if you look up Bread Baker, you'll find them. Look up Bread Baker, Azergroff, and Bacardi 151, I believe. Those are my highly favorited caches that I found on my channel. So if you look up those three names, I'll say them again: Bread Baker, Azergroff, and Bacardi 151. If you look up those three names, you'll find some pretty decent caches, and they're roughly in the same area. So if you look up those three COs, you'll find them. Sorry, I couldn't find them on the map. What was your question, Kunenbug? Sorry, I missed it when I was trying to talk. I'm looking back and I'm trying to find it. If you remember what it was, you could. Yeah, blinker fluid was in Buffalo. I'm sort of going back behind to see what I missed here. Yes, I have. I've played my Adventure Lab. Most people that cache in our area, it's right here in Cartersville. I have Adventure Lab. It's basically an Adventure Lab which brings you around our town. It's sort of set up like you're visiting our town for the day, arriving on a train, and then you leave on the train at the end of the day. That's what my Adventure Lab is set up like. Oh, I answered it. My favorite cache. One of my other favorite caches, I don't know the name offhand. Some of you guys might have been to it. I think you might have been to a Kunenbung, but I'm not sure. Was the one at the Locking Dam, which is just outside of Rome. It was that. It was sort of like a set up like an escape room. It's also on my channel, so I think it's 7 geocaches, 1 large gadget cache. It's also in my videos. It took us, I think, an hour and a half to open up and get the logbook. So if you guys have not seen that video, I really highly recommend you watch that video. It doesn't show how to open up all the locks and how to open up everything, but it shows you how big the cache is and how we had to have 7 people to get the cache and actually open it up. It was pretty incredible. So if you want to look for that video, it's in my videos as well. So look for that one. The ones that are from Bread Baker in my channel, you'll see one's like a huge shotgun. The one that's with the crane, a small candy operated crane, that was Azergroff's. And there's one that's an ammo can that I put out. Like it was a huge, large ammo can, not the recent one, but one from like a couple years back. That was the one that was Bacardi 151's cache. That was an amazing multi. So yeah, when you're up here, probably next October now, since they canceled going caching, you'll have to go after that one. If you guys need help, I'll gladly go up there. The owner is really nice of the cache. I'm so glad that he let me film that cache. It was an amazing, amazing cache. I like more like, even though finding caches is great, I like just the amazingness of just talking to people and meeting people. My wife sort of can't control me at events because I like talking to people and hearing their stories about geocaching. That's why one of the reasons why I started this, so I could just hear people's stories and backgrounds of how they got into caching and how they are going to go and cashing forward. So it's been an amazing experience for sure. Houston, Texas, Dave, have you ever been to Golden Caching, or you've never been out here before? Does anybody else have any more questions? Well, like I said again, for the people that haven't heard, the contest, I'm basically giving a preliminary on it. It's basically I'm going to have 3 books that are going to be in the contest. The Cacher Predator, I forgot offhand what the name of the other book is that she wrote that was for teenagers and preschool kids to learn how to geocache. And I'm also going to have the book by GeoJangy. That's going to be Sophia Finds a Geocache on for a contest. So all 3 of those are going to be up for a contest. I just haven't got the contest page up yet. And that I'll have up tomorrow when I release the official video for the contest. All right. If no one else has any other questions, I'm going to end this video, and I hope to see you guys out there caching. It's getting back to normal finally. Hopefully, with all the craziness, it'll end so we could go out caching in the cities. So I want to thank everybody for joining me, and I want you guys all to have a great weekend. So. Have you gone to Birmingham and found the rituals? No, I have not. There's a lot of places in Alabama we need to go, Aaron. There's Aaron's chiming in. We need to go there, and I want to go to Huntsville. I haven't gone out there yet. I want to go to the Rocket Museum when it opens up and do all that fun stuff. I've been offered to go out in that area plenty of times by a lot of cachers. They've said, when are you going to come to Alabama? We've gone to Alabama, just not everywhere in Alabama. So thank you all for enjoying me tonight. I'll see you guys out there and have a great weekend. Catch you later.